What's going on, YouTube world? This is your guy, Sealz the man. Thank you for coming back on tonight's episode. I'm gonna give y'all a little insight into my life real quick. Just real quick. It's gonna make sense later on in the video and to the topic of this video, as you saw. Growing up, I was a very troubled child, very troubled teenager, very troubled young man, and not necessarily in being bad. I just went through a lot of troubled waters, just rowing my boat in it. I was a very sick child, always in the hospitals. On holidays and days where you should be with your family, enjoying their time and presence. Me, young Sealz, in the hospital. From sinus infections to skin issues to asthma to injuries. I was always in something. As I matured and developed, it went from being sick to being in trouble. I hated authority. I had a huge attitude problem. Anytime somebody grown would come up to me and try to tell me something to do, I automatically got angry. Because who are you to tell me something? You ain't my mama. You ain't my daddy. That's the mindset I had. I hated someone telling me something or telling me what to do. Couldn't stand it. So because of that, I had so many anger issues. Just angry with people, angry with the world, and eventually angry with myself. But I didn't know why. It was just in me. My spirit was on fire. And then it evolved from anger issues to just being bad. Now I'm hanging out with the wrong crowd, hanging out with the wrong people, doing things that the cool kids did because I wanted to be cool. So now I'm in situations and places that I had no business being in. But in saying all those things, I made it out. I may not have known why I did in those times, but I survived. And I can't even tell you the whole full story of all the close calls that I had. Close calls to death, close calls to prison, just being in danger zones, bro. I was in a lot of mess, but there was always something, some force, something that was bigger than me that always pulled my foolish self out of them. And then there was one night that changed my life forever. I was getting ready to do something that would have most likely destroyed me. I was ready to do something that would have put somebody else or other people in danger, including myself. I was getting ready to cross the line. I'm not going to tell you what, but just know that if I would have did this thing, y'all would have not known Sealz the man that you see on this camera today. But once again, some force pulled me out of that. Some force saved my life. And then at that time, and when I was getting ready to do this thing, I looked up to the night sky and it was just nothing but emptiness in me. And the night sky was mostly empty too, but surprisingly, there was just one star in the sky, and this never happens. It was just one star, and it was beaming. It was bright. Mind you, this is nighttime, the dead of the night. There was no clouds, just this one star. And as I was getting ready to do this thing, a feeling, a warm feeling overcame me. This feeling, this warmness took over my spirit. It took over my mind. And now I went from thinking of this one thing and doing this one thing to asking myself, what am I doing? My whole perspective changed in that moment. And from there on, I knew it was God. There was no one or no thing that was going to change my life except for God. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I want to give y'all my introduction to when I started to take God seriously. And I grew up in church. I grew up in a Pentecostal Christian household. My God-fearing grandmother, beautiful queen, took me to church every single Sunday and sometimes the weekdays. So I grew up in church, but just because I grew up in church doesn't mean I was of church. It did not mean I understood what was going on in church. I just went because I had to. But it wasn't until I grew up and I started to face the muck of the world and I started to face the dangers and the sins of the world that I realized I cannot do this alone. And that is when my real relationship with God was birthed, right? So I tell y'all this to just let y'all know how it all started for me. So in this video, of course, you see the video title, what does God-fearing men look for in a woman? And as you know, on this channel, I talk about understanding the mind of men. So this is super important for y'all to know. What does God-fearing men look for in a woman? This is a different type of man. This is a real God-fearing man lives by a different set of standards. He is a changed man. He is of something greater than him. Therefore, he has to think differently. He has to look at the world differently, and specifically, he has to look at the woman in his life differently. And mind you, a lot of these things or some of these things may not apply to all God-fearing men, but I feel like they do, because one thing that is constant is the Bible, right? The one thing that is constant is God's love for us and his teachings, right? So I don't think what I'm going to say is going to be too far-fetched from how other God-fearing men think, but overall, I just want to let y'all know that, right? This is what a lot of God-fearing men look for in a woman. And the first thing I'm going to bring up is straight up, a God-fearing man is looking for a wife. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Y'all, a God-fearing man is looking for a wife, right? So when you're looking for a wife, you eliminate so much. And as a woman, as you're watching this video, you understand when a man is looking for a wife, there is a big difference between a dude who's looking to just play games or play around. So for me, more history on me. I've only been in a handful of relationships in my life. I have not been in a lot of relationships, honestly, because I go into relationships looking for my forever queen. If I'm going to do something with you, we're going to do this, or we're going to try to do this forever. I don't have time to get used out here or use. I don't have time to play games and waste money and waste time and waste energy and improve your life just for you to leave me. And nah. I'm looking for a partner. My grandma used to always tell me, a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. And trust and believe, Lord knows, I just want a good thing. I've been through so much in my life, so many bad things, that I don't want no more bad things. If I can't help it, I don't want no more bad things, because I went through so many bad things. As I said, I grew up troubled, and a lot of the things I went through, my family, my grandmother doesn't even know, but I was in it. I was on a pathway to destruction. I'm trying to tell y'all without telling you. So I'm done with bad things. I've done that already, and I've been saved and delivered from that. Therefore, I want a good thing. And what is better than a wife? God-fearing men do not have time to play or waste, because they are on a mission. And the thing about a man is, when he's on a mission, he's going to use all his artillery, all the tools provided. He's going to use all his power and energy and resources to accomplish that mission. And how can I accomplish the mission of life without a wife? Ooh. Yo, if y'all been watching my videos, y'all know I love when I accidentally rhyme. I love rhyming. But for real though, that is when I realized that I did not want to live the rest of my life without a real one on my side. Who wants to play games and get in and out of relationships purposely for the rest of their life? I do not want to be a 60-year-old bachelor. That's just for me. And that is for a lot of God-fearing men, because God-fearing men know that wives are blessings. Wives complete. Wives supplement. Wives nurture families. God-fearing men need wives. So if you're ever in a situation where you're looking for a serious relationship and you're with this guy and he is not treating you like a wife, or he is not giving you the impression that he wants to be with you forever, that he's not talking to you like he wants to be your husband, that he's not treating you like he is a God-fearing man, then guess what? Most likely it is because he does not see you as his future wife. Just being completely honest with you, as always. You treat things that are important to you way different than things that are temporary to you. I'm going to treat my DSLR camera or my mirrorless camera way better than I just treat my throwaway camera, because there is value in my DSLR. I want this thing forever. It brings value to my life. It does things that other disposable cameras cannot do. It has features that other disposable cameras don't have. You feel me? Value is evident when a man sees you as future wife. All right. So let's go to the next thing that I want to talk about when it comes to what God-fearing man look for. And that is a woman who is a blessing and not a stressing. As a man, if I'm with a woman and I'm being more stressed with her than I am being more blessed with her, it is usually because we are not on one accord. There is some kind of misunderstanding or some kind of resistance based on the way we two think, right? Because there is no way I'm going to be with someone who's going to stress me more than bless me. Because a God-fearing man knows that the right one, the right woman, is a blessing and not a stressing. Therefore, the traits of a blessed woman is not going to create confusion in that man. It's not going to create damage in that man. He's not going to question being with you if you are the answer. Let me say that again. He is not going to question being with you if you are the answer. I only question things that I'm confused about. I question things that I am unsure of. I question things that I'm ignorant of. But when I'm with the right woman, it feels like weight is taken off my shoulders and off my back. I feel like I don't have many questions. Everything just feels right. I feel like you were sent to me, like you were gifted to me. Something just seems right with you. Therefore, I have more statements than I do questions. A man does not like to be stressed because he feels it is unnecessary, and once again is going against his mission. As a God-fearing man, he knows he has things to do. But when he is with a blessing, those things are much easier to do and more enjoyable and more fulfilling. And this kind of ties in with the next thing I'm going to bring up about what God-fearing men look for a woman, is that he looks for a woman that is of the same understanding, the same yoke. I'll tell y'all another personal story. I was in a relationship where she did not believe in God. In fact, she believed in something that was of her culture, right? But she was a beautiful woman. We had a lot of fun together. We were happy together. It was cool, but eventually it just didn't work out because we were not of the same yoke. She was believing what she believed, and I believed what I believed. I'm not sitting here telling you that she was wrong in believing what she believed, but I knew because she wasn't of the same yoke as me, we got into a lot of arguments and misunderstandings. And every time we came to peace, we went back to war. And it was just constant. And eventually we had a mutual breakup because we both understood that we were not of the same yoke. But the thing I really was displeased about with that was we were together for so long doing this, fighting, trying to make it work. I'm trying to tell you, I tried, but eventually we ran out of runway. And it's okay. We're both okay from it because we understood that we were not of the same understanding. So advice for you is to not force something that is against your want or your need. If two puzzle pieces are not meant to be together, if I took one puzzle piece from one box and took a puzzle piece from some other random puzzle and I try to put them together knowing they are not supposed to be together, then I'm the fool. Because I know these two things are perfectly for whatever larger thing they came from. But I'm steadily trying to put them together, knowing they don't fit, right? So don't try to make things fit if you know they don't fit, because you'll figure it out. You'll find out after a while, after all the bickering, after all the arguing, after all the fights, that maybe y'all two just aren't supposed to be together. Another interesting thing that God-fearing men look for in a woman is a woman who understands family dynamics based on her faith, based on our faith. Now, everybody believes their own thing, right? But when it comes to God-fearing men, there is a family structure that is laid out in the Bible, right? The man is the head of the household, but God is the head of the family. I noticed that in today's relationships and today's society that the roles have been reversed, mixed up, switched around. Now you got women doing things that men should be doing and men doing things that women should be doing. And there's a whole bunch of confusion. This is a godless world. Clearly, it's so evident now. And I'm not trying to judge any of them, right? But I'm trying to be strict about what I believe in. So a woman who does not understand or who resists against that family dynamic, I can't be with. It is hard to be with a woman who wants to be the head of the household when I'm willing and ready to be the provider, to be my family's protector, to be your husband. I can't do that if you're trying to take my role in this family dynamic. And it's sad because, to be 100% transparent, a lot of our women have to survive in life. They go through so much trying to make it, working 3 times as hard to get the same position as a man. And doing that, it can toughen, and it toughens a lot of women to the point where a lot of women are doing everything. So they are not used to doing just what they're supposed to be doing when they come across a God-fearing man or come across a real man, a man who says, yo, I got you. You don't have to do that anymore. You're with me. Just worry about what you need to do and I'm going to do for us. It's hard for those women who had to survive and fight for everything in their life to submit and commit. So I get it. And that's very evident in today's society. As a God-fearing man, I accept that role as being the head of the household. Like, I got you. You don't have to worry about that. We're going to do this together. And if I am unable or physically unable to do things, I trust you enough to help me because I trust God. God is always in control. If it wasn't for God, I would have no trust in anyone, including myself. But because I believe in a higher power, I know that we will be all right. That's how we think. All right. So there must be some understanding in the dynamics of relationships when it comes to men and women. And that's what we go by. Another big thing that God-fearing men look for in a woman is a woman who doesn't want him to be her savior, desperate for a relationship or marriage, etc. Because one thing that a God-fearing man knows is that he cannot save anyone because he cannot save himself. A common thing when it comes to God-fearing men is that we've been through things, sometimes traumatic things that even brought us to this point of having an understanding and a love and a relationship with God. A lot of us did not just come straight to God. A lot of us had to go through hell, had to go to the bottom of the bottom and realize that there was nothing else to save us. We couldn't save ourselves. Our family couldn't save us. Our friends couldn't save us, but something, the glory of God, saved us, right? So now we have that understanding like, okay, man cannot save me. I cannot save me. Therefore, I cannot save you. But I can make you aware of the Savior. I can make you aware of my relationship, like, and how I was saved. I can show you. But a God-fearing man is not going to look for a woman that wants to be saved. And once he realizes, once he starts to sense that, oh, she's trying to use me, he's most likely going to depart. Because a God-fearing man knows who the real Savior is. And it is not us. It is not him. And for the ladies out there, I want you to know this too. There is nothing wrong in believing in your man. There is nothing wrong with looking at him as a hero, a superhero, Superman. We love that. But I'm telling you, so you don't break your heart or have disappointment or have high expectations, because at the end of the day, we're going to die. You're going to die. This body we have is very flimsy. Soft tissue muscle. The older we get, our skin starts to break down and droop. Our health deteriorates. We're not as quick thinkers as we used to be. Now we got a pep in our step because our back hurts. And that's the truth, because today my back was hurt for no reason. Like, we are breaking down. We are not perfect. And we know that perfection can save you. And there's only one thing that is. But it is not me. I also want you ladies to know that any man that claims he can save you is a liar. He can help you. He can suggest things like I've suggested things to y'all. He can make you aware of things. But there is no one that can save you. The next thing I want to talk about when it comes to what God-fearing men look for in a woman is a woman who is not weak. So there's something about the Bible that I realized as I read it and read it. The women of God in both the Old Testament and the New Testament were described as strong women. But you know why? It wasn't because they were physically lifting heavy weight or winning wars. None of that. It was because they were strong in their faith. Sarah, Leah, Rebecca, Hannah, Esther, Ruth, Mary, Tabitha, Priscilla, none of them were described as weak women. Their confidence and their love in God, their acceptance and submission to God made them strong and influential wives, even in a culture that marginalized women. So just imagine a God-fearing man reading through his Bible, seeing these great examples of women and wives, will want the same for himself. And that's what God-fearing men look for in women. A woman who is strong in her faith. A woman who influences him, boosts his confidence because she's confident in herself, because of her confidence in her faith. A woman who's motivational. Those are all things of strength. And we love to see that in women. So I just wanted to bring up a few things that God-fearing men look for in women. And I feel like this is good for y'all to know. But also take this in understanding that if you're with a guy, you're in a relationship that exhibits the opposite of these things, you might have some assessing to do. All right? Straight from your guy, Sealz the Man. Thank you for joining me tonight. And I will see you on my next video. Peace and blessings. Goodbye.